over the last decade, there is one team that has won a championship attempting 40% or more of their shots from beyond the arc. And you can probably guess that that one team is the Golden State Warriors. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm developing a theory and going to have to do some more research on it, going to need some larger sample sizes. But my theory is that with the exception of the Golden State Warriors, you do not win a championship if you're attempting like 39% or more of your shots from beyond the arc. I just don't think that that is a recipe for postseason success. You're too reliant on variance in your shots. I just don't think it just, a team cannot shoot that well on that volume long enough to win a championship. Like, I just don't think it happens. And the reason I'm bringing this, go ahead, Jacob.
I do just want to say that I'm like, I would like to hear more about this specific thing, like with actual information on it. Honestly, I think you could make a video on it. But I do love that, like, there is a cap on 3-point shooting in terms of the value it brings you, like that you can go too far with it, because as the years have gone on, it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And at a certain point, the boomer in me comes out and is like, all right, stop shooting so many fucking threes, good God. And I'm just in general as a basketball fan happy to know that there's a threshold that's too far, and that hopefully teams will recognize that sooner rather than later and figure that shit out.
So thank you, Zay. I'm glad that someone else has like noticed this, because I felt like that meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where it was like he's like Charlie's standing in front of the map and he's like got all the pins in there and he's like Pepe looking Sylvia. Crazy. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Definitely make a video on this.
Potentially, we'll see. Right now there are 5 teams attempting 40% or more of their shots from 3. Memphis, which I think that'll change now that Ja's back. Golden State, look at how that's working out for them. Sacramento's weird because even though they're attempting 41.8% of their shots from 3, they're attempting roughly 30% of their shots at the rim, which is still below average, but it's not quite as bad. Second is Dallas at 42.7%, and number 1 is Boston. They're attempting 43.8% of their shots at the rim. And you might think, well, okay.
You mean from 3?
Yeah, from 3. Excuse me. You might be thinking, okay, well, they're attempting a lot of threes, but maybe they're getting to the rim, right? They're getting to the rim at a good volume, maybe. But no. All of the teams that I just mentioned are, with the exception of Memphis, all of those teams that I mentioned are bottom 5 in rim frequency. They're attempting 30% or fewer of their shots at the rim, which, like, if you're going to attempt just a ridiculous amount of threes, you need to also be balancing that with just a ridiculous amount of shots at the rim. And that's not happening.
Yeah, the Celtics shoot a good amount of mid-range shots.
Yeah.
Like
and
Jason, Jalen, Porzingis, they all like their mid-range shots.
Yeah. My overall point with all of this is the Celtics need to drive. Like, please drive to the basket, because Rudy, I don't know if you are able to pull this up, but I tweeted a graph the other day that had basically drives per game by team and field goal percentage on drives by team. And if you look at the Celtics, they actually shoot pretty good off of drives, like surprisingly good. But their volume is just not up to snuff. And it's like, teams got to, if you're good at finishing, drive. Like, if you have good finishers, drive. The Bucks are in the same boat. The Bucks are like the most efficient team in the league off of drives. Yeah, they are. Most efficient team in the league off of drives, but they're bottom 6 in drives per game. The Warriors, I understand why they're not driving. They're bad at finishing off of drives. The Nuggets, the Nuggets are an exception where it's like, the Nuggets are just so good that they don't need to. And also, like, when you have Jokic, it's less about driving and more about just like setting guys out. Yeah, guys are coming off of cuts and stuff, like delay actions and stuff. It's you don't need drives as much. But the Bucks, they could definitely do to drive more. But the Celtics especially, it's like, dog, y'all are good at this. Drive, please. Same with the Mavericks. The Mavericks, they're good at driving. Drive more. Please.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I'm really looking at this chart. You know, I've glanced at it a couple of times, and I believe it made an appearance in your most recent video or the one before that. But the Thunder, like, I feel like this is understated by the chart. Like, if we imagine this as a bell curve, the Thunder are like 2 standard deviations ahead of the average. Like, they so frequent.
They drive more than any other team ever.
It's ridiculous. It's genuinely like unprecedented.
It's the Oklahoma City NASCAR. I mean, I just can't believe how frequent that is. The Grizzlies should be there, frankly, or at least flirting with like the Pacers territory in frequency based on our personnel, especially with Ja coming back. But seeing the Thunder that high, especially when you compare it to the Warriors, I mean, 37 versus what, like 60? Like 50% more drives a game. That's insane. It's truly wild. Thank you for directing me to bring this up.
You got it.
Yeah.
But
Jacob,
that's my New Year's resolution for all those teams. Stop attempting so many threes because it's not going to work. It historically doesn't work. We have 10 years of sample size to see that you have to have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on your team for it to work.
I'll say that. I'll ask this then. Celtics are favorites at the very least in the East to pretty much everybody. It's basically them and Denver are the teams that people are debating who should be the top dog for real. Would you say that the Celtics are a little bit overrated because of this fact if they don't change this drive disparity?
I mean,
maybe not as fearful of them as an opponent as you otherwise would be?
Part of me questions how much this volume is impacted by Porzingis missing a good amount of time so far. So I don't know how much is being skewed as a direct result of that. My point is more so if this continues, we kind of know now that it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say that I'm low on the Celtics, but like I don't have high hopes because historically it doesn't work.
Doesn't work is doesn't work.
Especially since the only exception is the Warriors. Mm-hmm. That's the only one.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
parentheses Stephen Curry.
Yeah, that's like the Magic Johnson assist rule. Like only he and LeBron have averaged double-digit assists and
Isaiah Thomas.
Not for the title years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's just another point to my point about that is Isaiah stopped averaging double-digit assists and they went to the finals and won. So
we did get a...
You need an outlier, ridiculous thing like Steph and Klay in order for that to work.
Very relevant to your question that you posed to Alex a moment ago, Jacob. Timon gave us another 7 Canadian smackaroos. Appreciate the donation. You're the real MVP. Celtics are one of the bigger teams in the NBA and they rely on the 3-ball too much. It's awkward. It would definitely be awkward. I mean, they've been in an awkward place for like a decade where it's like, man, this team could win a championship, and then we just know it's not happening, even when they make it to the finals.
Well, the thing that's also a little annoying to me about it is like, if anything, they should be liberated to drive more than they ever have been before, because this is the best space team that they have had. Like literally, you regularly have 5 guys on the floor who can all shoot the 3 at a pretty damn good level. Like the worst option is going to be Drew Holiday, you know? So I don't really get it. Like I feel like this should enable you to get to the rim even more because there's less people packing the paint.
Well, Jacob, I want to use this super chat from earlier that you alluded to it being similar to your own New Year's resolution. Rodney TV earlier gave us the $5 to say the Lakers need to spam pick and roll and trade for Klay.
I had a 2-part New Year's resolution for the Lakers. First one, fire Darvin Ham. Fire Darvin Ham. And then the other one was trade for a bona fide shooter. This team has been in desperate need of a guy who's like a shooter. I don't just mean improve your shooting. I mean get someone like, I don't know about Klay, but like Gary Trent Jr. is a good option. There's a lot of Pacers fans that want Buddy Hield gone because his three's not gone in as much this year as it has in the past. Whoever it may be, get someone out there who's a fucking sniper, because I'm tired of like Taurean Prince being the best option from 3 you've got.
You know, the Lakers would undeniably be better if they actually had a real shooter.
Like this is like such a dumb what if to get hung up on, but I always think, what if the Lakers went with that Buddy Hield trade instead of the Russell Westbrook trade? How different would everything be if that happened instead?
It would probably entirely change the landscape of the NBA. I mean, getting one of the best three-point shooters of all time, even on high volume, Buddy Hield on the Lakers. His legacy would be propped up so much by even a temporary stint on the Lakers. But I guess they could settle for an old man Klay Thompson if they really wanted to.
Klay's just too expensive. Like, trade for someone who doesn't cost you all the money.
Yeah. But thank you, Rodney TV, for that donation. I also had a Lakers resolution, and I think it's that they need to go back to their original plan of having LeBron on a minutes restriction, because the correlation is right there. I don't know about the causation. I'm not, an expert. I'm a professional casual. I am a fan. I don't do the analysis at the level that even you guys do. But I do understand that the correlation between the Lakers being good is with LeBron playing a little bit less. It allows him to be engaged on defense more. And when he's playing like 36, 37, 38 minutes a game, it's a lot easier for LeBron to slip into those, I don't want to say lazy, but like less effective tendencies where he's statistically one of the slowest players in the league because he's walking so much, where we know him to be more of an oversized point guard than like a versatile forward who can like play defense all over the floor and lead the team on offense. LeBron playing this many minutes seems to have a direct relationship with the Lakers' success at this stage in his career. I mean, the man is 40. He doesn't need to be playing 40 minutes a game.
He's 39, but yeah.
He's 40, I'm 30.
He just turned 39.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
my New
agree
Year's resolution
because
for him.
I'd rather get like a super high quality 27 minutes from LeBron than like a overall watered down 38. All right, who's next?
Yeah, Alex, I guess that's a, cue you up for another.
Mine's not very interesting, but I've been high on Emmanuel Quickly for a while. I've been singing his praises since last year. And basically, like, the big thing, kind of, I don't know if I would say the issue, but one of the problems when he was on the Knicks was the fact that, like, they didn't really give him a ton of, like, experience early on, just in terms of development. Tom Thibodeau was a little reluctant to give him a ton of PT early on. And I don't know how much, like, that may have not hurt his development. It doesn't seem like it's hurt his development a ton, but maybe he's a little bit behind schedule. So my New Year's resolution for the Raptors, especially, now they've made this trade. So I don't think the trade didn't happen until like 2 days ago, right? 2 or 3 days ago. So I didn't come up with this before the trade happened, obviously, but the Raptors should
It's like a week ago, but whatever.
It wasn't a week. It was like 3 days ago.
Time isn't real, at the end of the day.
It was was it not in like the end of December?
Dude, this happened like 3 days ago.
It's been a long 3 days.
It has been, so maybe that's why I'm off base, but I'm pretty sure like it's at least 5, right?
It was like 3 days ago. It was 3 or 4 days ago. I would say 4 max.
Yeah, whatever.
This is great podcast.
My trade reaction is from 6 days ago.
Yeah, maybe it was a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
Let's just settle and agree that it was 5.
No.
Well, I mean, it was 7. It was 7, apparently. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
It's not important, but
Yeah,
like I care way too much about being right, so I had to make sure.
Well, either way, point being, yeah, it had no relevance to what I was saying.
Oh, not even a
anyways.
little bit.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah, but just like, the Raptors aren't winning anything this year. They're not, maybe they make the playoffs through the play. Maybe. But, like, they're not going to win a championship. So, like, see how much you have in Emmanuel Quickly. Just go crazy. Spam him with Scotty and see what they can do together. And, you might have your point guard of the future. I think they do anyways, because I love Emmanuel Quickly. I think he's great. But, really, really see what you can get out of him.
It kind of felt to me like he hit the ground running. Like his first game wasn't that great, but his second game is pretty excellent. And like specifically like in terms of the way the Raptors were using him, it seemed like they were using him with like him being a star level guard in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing him play against the Grizzlies kind of reminded me of seeing Tyrese Maxey play against the Grizzlies several years ago when he was like kind of in the infancy of his game. And I think we actually talked about this a little bit, Jacob.
We were
where
saying
like him.
there is a spectrum of the same type of player because they do have pretty similar play styles. Not only that, but also like their movement is weirdly similar. They're also pretty similar in terms of their like measurables, like height, wingspan, weight, all that. Pretty similar-ish levels of athleticism. Tyrese Maxey is probably the most athletic out of all of them. By the way, there's like a spectrum of like Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley, Bones Highland, of like 3 tiers of the same player.
Yeah.
But Quickley's going, he's a lot closer to the Maxey than the Bones from what I have seen from the Raptors thus far, and I think he can definitely be there.
Yeah,
That's
he's
a
like
metaphor for life.
not even close. Yeah.
Right. He's
Close to
definitely
Bones
not.
Highland.
Right. He's definitely not at the 50-50 midway point between those two players, what I'm getting.
Yeah. But Emmanuel Quickley is very good. I saw a clip where it was either a clip or a tweet summarizing a press conference or whatever, saying that IQ was struggling a little bit, and then head coach Darko, Grizzlies legend, apparently Taylor Jenkins' ghostwriter, told him, "You're not having fun out there. Go have fun." And he quickly said that this is the first time he's ever had a coach tell him something like that. And then he proceeded to just go the fuck off, win the Raptors the game, and I think he finished with 26 points. Like, Emmanuel Quickley's got the goods, and I'm jealous of the Raptors for winning a trade so convincingly. I think they pretty much won this trade. Even if the Knicks make it to the conference finals this year, like, Emmanuel Quickley's probably going to be better than OG Anunoby in at least a couple years, in my opinion. Maybe it's just my preference as far as types of players, but I like IQ a lot, and I think the genre that OG is a little bit overrated. Although I understand he is like happy to be in New York, so maybe he won't be asking for $40 million when his contract is up or whatever.
I don't think top 5 perimeter defender and very good, like, fills his role offensive player is an overrated player type at all. That's the most. Yeah. There's a reason it's at high praises.
Yeah.
I disagree with almost. We don't have to like pick it apart, but I disagree with almost everything you said.
That's fine.
OG is a player that every team wants. You know, not as much as the Raptors thought people wanted him. Although I don't know, RJ. If RJ works out pretty well too, that's a pretty hefty package for OG. It might not have been actual draft capital, but
it's like the highest quality flyer you could take on a guy is a guy like RJ who's picked that high in the draft and has shown flashes here and there. But he is ultimately a very pricey flyer, but he could be good. Could be good.
Yeah, and I feel like if he's going to be good anywhere, it's going to be back home. So that might be the environment he needs to get good.
Yeah, he was hooping for Team Canada in the FIBA World Cup. So, like, he's back in the motherland.